minds and my dreads, pulling me from my root. As I've been a misguided youth, tailored with a bulletproof personality disorder, never believing in my potential to soar beyond God-given gifts I've ignored. What's been placed firmly in my heart, a spot I've challenged from the start. Having no choice but to heed its call, my life was perpetuating this downward fall towards an abysmal recollection. I needed to learn these lessons. A test in the school of life, an empty canvas yet to be filled with hates and regrets that haven't left. And I choose not to fall again, but rise like benevolent sun's end, trying to evaporate my sense of failure so I could reach my lowest denominator in hopes to understand what it truly feels like to touch God's hand, enough to satisfy my taste of faith for the next day in wake of my shattered conceptualizations, misguided explanations that holds me in chains of evasion as these feet beneath me are quaking. Said if I fall, womb of earth shall hear my call. Lift, 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 lift me on wings of angelic lullaby so I could feel my rise. In essence, beneath my feet the ground is cursing me incessantly. I run, rage, rapid, haphazard, physically taking leave of absence from problems I framed. Picture perfect shame. Although I aimed to change the course of my fate, allow my wings to change its pace from fast-living, life-giving tactics. Yeah, I asked for it. Although I didn't expect to dismiss years spent in toil over addictions, inflictions waging inner warfare, I strive so hard to not go there. I tried so hard to make amends from shattered fractions of liberty, feeble attempts of uprising. I'm up, rising, devising a plan to make it home again. So I can counteract the rat trap trick of dualistic personality split. I'm hit. When I find myself risking it all to hear the call of my dawning destiny, why have I not been able to achieve or remedy this picture-perfect enemy crumbling beneath my memories? He said, if I fall, womb of earth shall hear my call. Lift, 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 lift me on wings of angelic lullaby so I could feel my rise. In essence, beneath my feet the ground is healing me. Full force epiphany, I've conquered the question, or at least my mind thinks it has. Am I strong enough to take it up a notch, to spread my wings, not just get caught in its silky threads? Webbed head dread, I'm fed, nourished on a psychological level. And I tremble at the sight of flight, and I tremble at the sight of flight, and I tremble at the sight, and I tremble at the sight, and I tremble at the sight. I might be happy? Inner revolution. Now that's the best kept solution. If I succeed over this inner enemy, I can reach the stars and beyond, written on the tongues of butterflies now. Hear me sing these ancient lullabies. Say if I fall, the womb of earth shall hear my call. Lift me on wings of angelic lullabies so I can feel my rise. In essence, we've all died to come back as butterflies. Thank you. Thank you.
She is a firefly. Our next poet, Mary Pinkowski, hails from Edmonton. She's winner of the 2008 National CBC Poetry Face-Off. Dynamic, visceral. She's been on local and international radio, CBC Radio 1's Radioactive, Key of A, CKUA's The Road Home, as well as Philadelphia's Spotlight on Jazz and Poetry. Mary's first chapbook, Set List, Poems for Lonely Microphones, is here. Is it, Mary? Oh, it's not here. But there is a chapbook here. you need to check out the merch, the Poets merch. And before you do that, please welcome to the stage the glorious Mary Pinkowski.
Hello, Calgary. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, hasn't this been an amazing festival? I came yesterday, but I've been watching live streaming in Edmonton, which is nice because I have a little whiskey tea at night. This is a new thing I've started. But I guess I didn't realize that I was having it so much, or maybe I was just talking about it too much because I got a little bit sick, and then I was my mom called and I was like, oh, I'm feeling a little sick. I'm just having some tea. And she's like, is this a regular tea, Mary, or a whiskey tea? And I thought no regular. But I'm prepping because I believe that one day I will be invited to visit the Queen, and I'm going to be totally ready. I'll be like, yes, bring on the whiskey tea. I have been practicing. But I have been watching the festival live streaming, so it's been awesome, hasn't it? Yeah. The first time I ever read was actually at the festival in 2006, and I slammed on this stage. There was a slam involved with the festival, and actually, coincidentally, I didn't win, but I won a basket of tea there, too. So it's full circle, which is fitting, I think. So I hope people are having a good time and someone's drinking champagne. Anyone? Anyone? Well, you should be. I want to thank Sherry D for having me, and for the festival for having me. Sherry D has been such a great mentor in my life, and I just want to thank her for this opportunity. Yeah. So we'll start with a little benediction. Set me to rest in the room where I was born. Wrap me in the curtain of my mother's hair. Place her soft like flannel beside me. Sway me in the rocking chair where I heard my first hymn. Show me the first dream I dreamt. Introduce me to the elephant who gave her tusks for the keys of the first piano. Let me run my fingertips like braille over her scars. Make me hear the caged music trapped in her trunk and in every note played since. Bring me to the riverbank biblical. Unable to walk on water, show me where you first portaged. Hold the canoe high above your head like a throbbing vein. Show me every root you tripped over. Show me your weaknesses. Make me believe in miracles. Cradle me in the sails of a ship rocking back and forth on the ocean. Teach me lessons of wind and buoyancy. Set my soul like ballast. And at night, give me ancient science when the stars burst open and the water sings phosphorescent explanations. Hide me in the boxcar that took you across the country. Tell me your dreams as big as a nation. Hum me the tune you traded your breath for at midnight. Lay me out in a country where it's too hot to breathe. Like candles at each of my corners, burn my pen like incense. Set me to rest in the room where I was born. Mumble this prayer like a chant into the vertebrae of my spine so that I will be held up always. And my heart will grow like an offering forever. So I tend to write a lot about my mom, my poor mom. She's always the first time she ever came to see me read, it was, I wouldn't let her come for a long time. I was like, no, you can't come, as if I was writing some sort of salacious materials, which I wasn't. And then finally I was like, yeah, you can come, because it was at the library in the town where they live. And so she was really excited, and she's like, oh, I'm really excited to see you read. And then about 5 minutes before the show, I was watching her, and she got this look on her face, and it was this horror look, and she was like, Mary. And so I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, these people are my friends. You are not going to read any poems about me, are you? And so I was like, oh, not now. But this poem is called For My Mom. And all you need to know is that my mom is religious, and you need to know that Noah sent a dove out from the ark to find, to see if the water had dried up, and he did that a few times. For my mother. 1. When I was born, my mom loved me so much she fed me Noah's dove, saying, "This is the closest to safety that I can give you." So I grew up with a bird in my chest, felt my ribs turn to wings that beat against the walls of my body like repeated thunderclaps. There was an aviary inside me with a bird that kept banging at the windows, wanting to get out and be set free. I have learned quickly the lessons of Noah, believed my lungs were a boat, felt my heart too often sail away from me. It is hard to live with this dove in your chest. When I cry, my tears are floods. When I pray, my prayers are only for Noah's hand to reach inside me and pull out the dove, send it away. When I was born, my mom loved me so much that she placed the most important dove in the world inside me because she knew that someday I would take after my father and I would run away, and eventually I would need a map back to her. 2. It happened in Hannibal, Missouri. I was standing on the banks of the Mississippi River with a man reciting psalms beside me. On the banks of the Mississippi River, as I am tracing an M-I-S-S-I across the roof of my mouth with my tongue, my mother finally breaks down and says, "This is the hardest you have ever been to love." In the year I became hardest to love, we were always arguing and citing footnotes of personal history. My mother would say, "When you were 9, I let you wear stained sweatpants to your Christmas pageant because you thought they would fit your angel costume perfectly." Can you imagine what they thought of me, a single mother sending her daughter to church in dirty sweatpants? I got ideas, and I became fixated upon them. When I was 6, I decided I would sell dandelions to all the neighbors. So my mom gave me a wheelbarrow and told me not to go into anyone's house. So I went to the neighbors with the cable and the satellite TV because I heard that meant you had money to blow. I charged them a penny each for each dandelion, but really it was just a penny to pick their fairy rings. And they ended up with a wheelbarrow full of dandelions and $3.35. I took that $3.35 over to the nearest garage sale, and I bought my mom a size 6 pair of gold sequined high heels. She wore a size 9. I had no idea. I thought shoes came in 2 sizes, kid and adult. I brought those shoes home to my mom, and she kept those ugly, wrong size, gold sequined high heels in the back of her closet through a new marriage, 2 moves, and 4 more children. 3. There are only mourning doves in Missouri. Heavy-hearted like their name, they fly low over the Mississippi River, like the way sadness seeps into the rain barrel of our hearts. They run like tears down every road you use to try to get away, but you can't outrun a dove. You can only follow it with the patience of Noah. It happened in Hannibal, Missouri, on the banks of the Mississippi River in the year I was deemed hardest to love, with a man shouting psalms beside me. I sat down and I wrote my mom a postcard. It said, "I'm sorry that the sparkling shoes didn't fit. I wish they had." And the man beside me screamed, "But you have upheld me and set me in your presence forever." Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. So I've come to realize that sometimes if you fall in love in winter, it's bad in spring, as we've already heard. So I've also found that perhaps I say I love you too often, or no, too quickly. And so that lends itself to a certain vulnerability, I think. When I told you that I loved you, I meant I loved you like I was willing to cut off my cable TV and start growing a garden in the middle of winter, just so you could see my hands dirty. So you were always saying that my hands were too soft, like they had never seen a day of work in their life, and I wanted to prove to you that I was willing to work at this. So I lined tables with pots filled with seed and dirt. I called it insurance, thinking that someday you might smell a garden and remember me. When I told you that I loved you, I meant I loved you like I wanted something practical, like quilts and a wood stove, like wool socks in January. But you had me wearing $80 tank tops that never really fit and clashed with everything I owned. And sure, I looked all right in them on the nights when I wore them. But those were the nights where nothing survived and everything was cold. Those were the nights when the sun disappeared and I knit scarves to trick myself into warmth that stretched long through life's living room, just like the lists you used to send me, filled with the things I could change about myself. I tried to move, become a different kind of animal, change biospheres, but we are all meant for one weather system. When I told you that I loved you, I meant I loved you like this time I was willing to swallow lightning, give my whole self up to become the storm just so you could sit like stillness in the center of it. In the blur of the storm chase, I forgot what dangerous trickery Hera forecasted when she devoured the sky for Zeus and I cracked like thunder. Started settling for letting you tell me you love me in all the wrong places. In the parking lot, filled with the splintered shopping carts weeping rust tears because they would never hold anything again. In the planetarium, under the artificial stars, twitching because they would never revolve in the celestial centrifuge. In the alley, beside the graffiti of a dove, aching because it would never lift itself off the bricks. On a bridge over a dried riverbed, marking a geological time from forever to now to forever, I had high hopes. I let you tell me you love me on a Sunday and change your mind by a Thursday. There were things that were broken from the beginning, but my promises weren't one of them. So when you asked me to write a different kind of poem and I promised to never write like this again, I did it. Sat for months staring at great gaps on the page, refusing to speak anything out loud, holding my breath and watching that winter garden die. And the words I love you sat in the back of my throat like a cat, scratching at the screen door, begging to be let out. But eventually, we have to breathe to survive, and we exhale and come alive again. And my hands never became the calloused workhorses that I thought would make them worthy of your world. So lately, I've been touching plants and poems and love with the back of my hand, afraid to turn it over because I might want to hold on to something. Thank you. So I'm just going to finish with one more poem. And I'm lucky because words are magical to me, and sometimes I encounter other people who words are magical as well to them. And this is such an encounter. Tuesdays and Thursdays I tutor down at the local community center. Local for them, not local for me. The place is like a ghetto. Once, I leaned my head in too close to this kid and I got a case of head lice. But the thing about that girl was that she hummed while she did her math problems. It was this barely audible hum, like she had been told one too many times to shut up, and even though she didn't speak English, she knew that shut up wasn't something she wanted to hear every day. So she developed this almost inaudible hum that I leaned in closer to hear and got the case of head lice. These kids are like origami paper. They fold themselves into folds and folds and tears until poof, all of a sudden you got this staggering swan in front of you. They've got a beauty, but you have to search for it, which is why I'm not surprised when she comes to me with a huge smile and a mouthful of rotting teeth. Tuesdays we burn through vocabulary lists faster than their older siblings burn through crack rocks, but for 3 weeks she just says read to me, and so I do. I've become the Mother Teresa of words. I dole out vowels like Charity, setting up hospices of consonants for her mind. We work our way through this mildewed copy of A.A. Milne poems, and it's all blah, blah, blah to her, until we get to the poem about the raindrops racing each other down a window pane, and she says, oh, I never had a window pane until I came here. After that, we're ready for vocabulary lists. We move through I and can and would and could and should. We trip over like that, house in between and stand, and then we hit the word bicycle. And it takes her a full 5 minutes before she can even get her mind around it, let alone spit it out in syllables. It's the CYC part that keeps messing her up. But finally she gets it and she says, but what is a bicycle? And that's when it hits me. She's 7 years old and spent her whole life in a refugee camp. She arrived in Canada to 5 months of winter. The first time she rode in a car was from the airport to her new house. This girl has got shoes for a soul and calluses as thick as freedom. And I'm sitting here explaining to her that a bicycle is this thing with wheels and handlebars and you pedal it to get around. And she asks if it's faster than a car. And I say no. And she says, but why then? And before I can answer, she says, imagine riding a bike down a hill and feeling the wind in your hair. And she touches her hijab like it's her hair and smiles a vision big enough to swallow up her whole face. 2 weeks later, I see her downtown and she's made learning about bicycles her business. She points to the front of this bus and she says, look, a bike rack. Imagine having a bicycle and not wanting to ride it. And that's when I realize I can't give this girl anything more than she already has. So I pass on some words with very little meaning to her, and she stores them away for a time when they might be useful. That year, I suffered the best case of head lice ever, as a little girl with a huge smile and a mouthful of rotting teeth, dreamt of riding a bike down a hill while translating menus and bus maps for her mother. Thank you so much for having me.
Mary Pinkoski. Mary, I love people who say I love you too quickly, and I love you. Sherry D. Wilson will go to any length to put on an amazing festival. I have had such an honor and privilege of experiencing this festival. I can't even tell you. And our next poet is no exception to that. I will pronounce her name wrong, but I'll try not to. Monica Caldiero. No, still. Comes to us from Barcelona. She is essentially obscene, a co-creator. She adores being artistically stoned, and thus she has shared different projects with other poets, musicians, and visual artists, such as Poetrips, the Blue Bus Band, and Obra Negra. Last year, she co-founded with Victor Lopez Lagunda. Did I do that any justice? the poetic duo La Patia, La Visceralidad. In Barcelona, you can find her in bars, closed or open mics, and poetry festivals. She has also performed in readings and festivals in different cities of Spain, and she leads a poetry section on a radio program called Radio Contrabanda. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Monica Caldiero.
Thank you, Sherry D, for this gift. We discovered Monica and Victor while we were touring in Europe last year, and this has been 1 year in the making. Thank you for their first trip to Canada. And
thank you. I'm going to speak in Spanish.
Yo no hablo español.
Este recital de hoy quiero especialmente dedicarlo a mi hija Nora.
I would like to dedicate this special reciting to my daughter in Barcelona.
Que está lejos.
Muy lejos.
Y por supuesto a mi compañero Víctor, que ha venido aquí también a recitar.
I'd also like to dedicate this to Victor, who came here with me.
Y por supuesto, muy especialmente a Sherry D. Wilson, que gracias a ella estoy aquí.
And to Sherry D. Wilson for bringing me here.
Y a todas las personas que han hecho posible este festival.
And for everybody else who makes this festival possible.
A Jess Hegel, que nos ha tenido unos días en su casa,
And Jess for having us in your home.
y por hacernos sentir muy, muy bien aquí a todos.
And for all of you making us feel so, so welcome here.
Os presento a la maravillosa y fantástica Elise Robert,
I present to you the wonderful and fantastic Mónica Caldeiro.
Gracias. Y voy a empezar con un poema
I will start with a poem
que se llama, y seguro que esto os resuena,
which is called and will resonate
Desde los jardines de nuestras madres.
from the gardens of our mothers.
Levantaré de mi jardín las cabezas de las muertas
I will lift from my garden the heads of the dead
para que sus ojos cóncavos vean.
so that their eyes concave may see.
¿Cómo se presupone que debemos ir escoltadas, que no debemos manejarnos solas por el mundo?
How is it that you expect us to go hiding and walk through the streets of the world?
Hacer vida y amor libremente, decidir para vivir sin miedo.
Asservis, obligés de vivre dans la peur.
Así digo lo que yo deseo.
I tell what I wish to talk about.
Seguiré siendo una zorra
I will continue to be a witch
que arrastra su coño fértil hasta los confines de la
who
tierra.
brushes her fertile cunt against the earth.
Una zorra lista y ágil,
A witch very agile,
capaz de correr a tiempo,
able to run on time,
capaz de enfrentarme con mis dos pechos por escudo contra el odio que trata de delimitarme.
able to front the world with my two breasts.
Soy la más zorra.
Sorry, the wicked witch.
Y con el megáfono a voces me manifiesto por las calles, por los bosques que me vieron engancharme a las ramas y a la vida.
And with my voice and my power, I will talk to the streets.
Voy siempre totalmente desnuda.
I go always completely naked.
Voy siempre alerta, dispuesta a desayunarme al chile cualquier asalto.
I go always ready and awoke.
Voy siempre en pértiga por la ciudad, engullendo el aire que sobrevuelo.
Je vais vers le vertige de la cité.
Soy tan zorra
I am so witchy.
que sé cómo ubicarme, cuál es mi trabajo.
I know where to be. I know what my work
Y
is.
dalo por hecho ahora.
Et c'est pour ça qu'aujourd'hui, maintenant,
No tiene nada que ver contigo.
ça n'a plus rien à voir with you.
Lo que me bulle dentro es
Ce
la
qui bouille en
luna.
moi,
Lo que me bulle
c'est la
dentro
rage.
es el amor
What
que
is
siempre
burning
es
inside
gratuito.
me is-
Lo que me bulle dentro son estas pestañas que
Ce
han
qui bouille en
visto
moi, my
tsunamis de
eyelashes.
lágrimas.
My tears.
Lo que me bulle dentro es la violencia que
boiling
constantemente
inside
pesa
me
sobre
is
nosotras. Esta es una llamada a la
This
no
is a calling
indiferencia.
to those of you who are not indifferent.
Llámame indiferencia
Call
y
me
escupiré
indifference,
tiradas
and I
de
will
versos.
vomit on
Silénciame de esparadrapo y goma de mascar.
Ne
y
me
mi
laissez pas
lengua
porter de
penetrará
maquillage ou de
el
chapeau pour me
cinturón
cacher.
de castidad. Comérciame las nalgas,
Convince me.
el pecho,
Touche mes
el
hanches,
vientre
mes seins,
orondo y
mon corps,
fértil.
mon ventre
Y
fertile.
yo me daré a
And
la
I
comunidad.
will give you.
Estableceré puentes y
will build
besaré,
bridges.
besaré, 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 besaré
And I will
mujeres.
kiss.
hasta saciarme de
Hasta-
amor.
Until I am
Mi mirada.
tired of love.
Mi mirada no las verá competidoras.
My glances you will not see.
Mi mirada no lanzará flechas de juicio.
My eyes will not spit out.
Mi mirada pondrá
Arrows.
sus ojos en corro para esta lucha.
My eyes are for this round circular battle.
Para ellas
And for all of you
que tienen óleos en los pliegues de la piel, que abren su
who have
sexo como
sweat
un
on their
manantial,
skins,
que canalizan deidades, amaneceres de luna y
who
estrellas,
open their legs to birth out some mornings,
que son redondas, que
Who are round,
viven solas, que
who
son
live alone
madres, que
in
son
full
matronas,
circle,
que son
mother,
nodrizas,
daughter,
que nos amarmantan, que nos abren
who open
su coño,
their cunt
porque deberíamos entrar
because we must
en él,
enter
deberíamos
in her.
entrar en
We
él. Tú tienes que
devrait
entrar
entrer en él.
en él.
Toutes à
Acepta
l'intérieur,
tu vuelta, tu
entrer
regreso
en él.
a ese
Et
paraíso del que
revenir full
tanto
circle,
has
becoming
renegado.
again.
Entremos en él. Volvamos
enter
a la
in
tierra,
her,
al
to
fuego
come back to
interno. Despreciad la violencia hacia vuestras hermanas.
Dépréciez la violence
Erradiquemos la de la
envers
vida.
l'humanité.
Celebremos
Pensez à la
los
vie
jardines colgantes
jardins
de las entrañas
ignorent.
posparto.
Giving birth again in
Porque
the garden.
cada vez que des a luz un libro, una canción,
Who give birth to a book, to a song,
un árbol,
a tree,
una arquitectura,
an architecture.
tú,
You,
hombre,
men,
mírate.
look at yourself.
Eres una madre
You are a
también.
mother as well.
Entra en él. ¿De qué tienes
Enter in
miedo?
her.
Entra en él.
Don't be
Denuncia el abuso. Respeta
Denounce the
a tus
abuse.
hermanas que te cuidan. Respeta y déjate
Respect.
recibir de vuelta.
And let them give you and receive.
Levantad el puño, levantadlo bien
Stand
alto,
up,
que
rise up your
cruce las
fist.
zarzas, que se
Open
abran
the cruce.
gruñido. Mi rabia es mi lucha y mi
My
violencia
rage
es
is
derrocar
my-
este orden. Así, 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 así,
Comme
así,
ça, comme ça,
nos
comme ça.
abracemos.
On s'embrasse.
Respeta la
Respect
vida,
la
que la
vie,
luna
la
te
lune
guíe,
qui
que
te
las
guide,
lobas del lupanar
les loups
te
qui
amamanten.
t'aimeront.
A ti,
À toi,
mujer,
femme,
a ti,
à toi,
hombre,
homme,
a ti,
to you,
humanidad.
all
A
humanity.
a
To
ti,
you,
a
to
ti,
you,
a
à toi,
ti,
à ti, à eux, à ti, à you.
que todavía clamas y reclamas
Et encore, tu clames et réclames
por tu infancia
for your
perdida.
childhood.
Gracias, Elise. Ahora seguiré yo en español,
I will now continue in Spanish,
pero Elise va a traducirme esta pequeña introducción
but Elizabeth will translate this little introduction
a un poema
to
que,
a poem
que se llama
called
Conocer la propia estirpe.
To Know One's Own
Heritage.
Heritage.
Y este poema habla
This poem speaks about
mujeres que fueron víctimas de su tiempo
women who were victims in their own time
y que no pudieron continuar
and who could not go on
Y también para aquellas que
and so that they
no se dejaron victimizar.
did not allow them to become victims.
Y yo soy parte de ese linaje
And I am part of that lineage.
y me sitúo en mi lugar junto a ellas.
Et je me place donc au milieu d'elles.
Voy a continuar en español.
Mónica Caldeiro.
Gracias. Silvia Plath, nacida en 1932, Boston, Massachusetts, intensa creadora de poesía confesional, 1963, pobre y enferma, 2 hijos a cargo, la cabeza en el horno de la cocina, inhalación de gas, 1982, póstumo, premio Pulitzer de poesía, dijo, quizá cuando nos encontramos queriéndolo todo es porque estamos peligrosamente cerca de no querer nada. Anne Sexton, nacida en 1928, Norton, Massachusetts, vinculada a Silvia Plath, confesionalista, 1967, Pulitzer de poesía, diagnosticada 2 veces con depresión posparto, 1955, intento de suicidio el día de su cumpleaños, 1974, inhalación de monóxido de carbono, dijo: el cuerpo es algo condenadamente difícil de matar. Violeta Parra, nacida en 1917, San Fabián de Alico, Chile, cantautora, escultora, pintora, bordadora, ceramista, la más importante folclorista chilena, 49 años, carpa de la Comuna de la Reina, suicidio, espacio que sería referente cultural de su país, no hubo apoyo, el público no, dijo: gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto. Adrienne Rich, nacida en 1929, Baltimore, Maryland, superviviente, casada con un economista, 3 hijos antes de los 30, separación, exmarido suicidado, evolución de la poética, implicación social, encuentro con la sexualidad, reivindicación de la propia vida, activista lesbiana, 1997, rechaza la Medalla Nacional de las Artes de mano de Bill Clinton, simplemente no se acogía a sus principios, dijo: si me aferro a la realidad, podría no sentirme responsable. Solo aquella que dice que no eligió es quien pierde al fin. Diane Di Prima, nacida en 1934, Brooklyn, Nueva York, superviviente, poeta, beat, conocedora de alquimia, budismo, magia, religiones ocultas, activista, madre de 5 hijos, abuela de numerosos nietos, más de 35 obras publicadas, fundadora de revistas de culto, pequeñas editoriales, sigue recitando y enseñando, San Francisco, California, dijo: la única guerra que importa es la guerra contra la imaginación. Anne Wallman, nacida en 1945, Nueva Jersey, superviviente, poeta, maestra, madre, fundadora del Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics con Allen Ginsberg, Boulder, Colorado, vinculada al budismo, Fast Speaking Woman, la mujer que habla rápido, mujer y más joven entre los beat, un justo hueco para su nombre, dijo: es simple, una mujer se levanta, se despereza, el mundo es su espejo y también el portal. Mónica Caldeiro, nacida en 1984, Barcelona, superviviente, poeta, madre activista, otras ocupaciones, profesora, modelo artística, cuidadora, la vinculan al spoken word. Está orgullosa de haber crecido gracias al amor y de haber aprendido gracias al dolor. Y digo: para ser mujer, artista y superviviente es necesario. I mean, to be a woman, artist and survivor, you have to 1. Sostener la propia vida, el propio cuerpo, la emoción. 2. Mantenerse despejada de objetivos inútiles, de objetos inútiles, de gente inútil. 3. Conservar la energía es de suma importancia. 4. Defender lo propio al corte rápido y limpio. 5. Localizar agentes nocivos, personas nocivas que te quieran vulnerable o presa. 6. Evitar maridos y escoger compañeros. 7. Abrazar a maestros y maestras, arrodillarse a tiempo, volatilizar paletas cromáticas, buscar un tono más allá. 8. Cuidarse de supuestos amigos cuando no se alegran. Cuidarse de supuestos amigos cuando se apartan. 9. Descartar rápido sin empodrecimiento, desdeñar la manzana tóxica, proteger la parcela, el espacio del alma. 10. Amar a los niños, ser compasiva, descubrir la divinidad. 11. Vivir con orgullo en el cuerpo y la sexualidad. 12. Apartarse, respirar ante destrucción, aturdimiento, confusión. 13. Defender a hijas, hermanas, madres, abuelas. 14. Destronar el mito de la competición femenina, de los obstáculos de una a otra. Eso quieren ellos y eso no está en nosotras. 15. Confiar en una misma, saberse amada, retomar la lucha cuando necesario, retroceder para coger impulso. 16. Saber llorar acompañada, saber llorar sola, tener la llave de tu habitación. 17. No cargar más de lo que puedas llevar encima. Recuerda, desconocer los propios límites es otra forma de suicidio. Destruirse, no amarse, descuidar el jardín es otra forma de suicidio. Desmentir el dolor o negar la ayuda es otra forma de suicidio. El descontrol, la arrogancia, la soberbia son formas de suicidio. Vivir el arte en la sombra es otra forma de suicidio. Dejarte engañar con falsos premios, galardones o méritos es otra forma de morir con lentitud. Así, honro a las muertas, a las caídas en combate, a las que pobres o enfermas no pudieron, a las que jóvenes no supieron. Pero sin evitarlo, me identifico, sé a dónde pertenezco y que este poema dé honor a mis madres. Retrocediendo por el árbol familiar, concedo mis raíces a la estirpe de las vivas.
Mónica Caldeiro, de Barcelona. Gracias, Charity. Gracias, Calgary.
¿Tengo tiempo para un poema cortito? Do I have time for another poem? Short. Okay. 1 minute and a half, 2? Yeah, okay. Fine. Okay. There I go. Así que hoy me ha superado hasta mi empeño, he llegado al borde del bloqueo, quieren diagnosticarme, quieren declararme técnicamente inútil, aplicarme un nuevo sello de identidad. Que deje de escribir. Extraños métodos de descanso, tengo malas noticias, me ha superado, no he sido capaz de espantar los monstruos, tienen múltiples formas, les encanta hablar, les encanta encender mechas en mi axila. No sigas con esta vida. ¿Qué harás cuando tengas que vivir con deudas? ¿Qué harás si no trabajas? ¿Qué harás cuando nadie pueda pagar tu entierro? ¿Qué harás? 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 ¿Cuándo vas a aprender a lidiar con ella? ¿Cuándo vas a llevar una vida normal? Llevar una vida normal es no poder tenderme en la arena, llevar una vida normal, es ver una vez al mes la montaña, llevar una vida normal, es espantar la intuición como quien aparta a los monstruos de la mierda, llevar una vida normal, es declararme voluntariamente esclava, llevar una vida normal, es anular mi naturaleza combativa. Me declaro anormal, paranormal para este sistema. Me declaro inútil, socialmente discapacitada. Me declaro anormal, paranormal para este sistema. Me declaro inútil, socialmente discapacitada. Estoy en la sala de urgencias de un hospital con mi miedo, frágil, sola, vulnerable. Y estoy escribiendo sobre mi vida normal necesaria, mi vida paranormal necesaria, mis poemas necesarios, mis 3000 libros necesarios, mi sexo de diosa necesario, todo ello necesario. Me duele cada una de mis partículas y si sobrevivo es por amor y si muero es para renacer, para admitir mi anormalidad, mi todavía capacidad de sorprenderme ante la belleza. Gracias. Thank you.
Mónica Caldero. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, she's amazing. Elise Malton, Dina Smith, Heather Haley, Jen Cunleary, Mary Pinkowski. Thank you, Sherry D, for inviting me to share the stage with all of the amazing women here today. And, oh. My name is Sean. I've been your MC. I will say this, please go back, check out the merch table, pick up some works from your favorite poets. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at this book, it's been in the works for the last 2 years. It's the spoken word workbook. Heather Haley is featured in the book, Sherry D. Wilson, some amazing poets that were brought here for the festival. This is, if you've ever wanted to write anything and have looked at poetry as though it were something that was unapproachable, I'm telling you it's not. And these amazing, amazing artists show us that it's not, and it gives us an opportunity to really express ourselves. So I say go, enjoy the day, have a poetic, beautiful Sunday, take an opportunity to tell your stories, and thank you for being here.